Welcome back to the Workbench After Hours podcast. My name is Keith, and I'm your host. This is where we talk about the firearms community, shop talk, and everyday life experiences. Welcome back, guys. This is episode 7, and we have our co-hosts Chris and Hunter on here as well. And we're going to be trying something a little different if you're watching on video. So we got a multicam setup, so that's why you see there's a little bit more stuff in front of me. We're going to test that out and see how it works, kind of trial and error. There's a lot more stuff with this Ecamm Live software that I have, but I'm just learning it out, so we're going to try some basics. So if you see me messing with some stuff, I'm just kind of monitoring and changing the camera angles and everything. So, but like always, we're going to start off with what we did in guns this week. So, Hunter, what did you do in guns this week?
Well, this week I did absolutely nothing in guns, but I wasn't on last week's podcast, one that came out just last Friday. And I would have said for that one, I talked about it a little bit on the last podcast, but replacing that connector from the 5-pound pole to the 3.5-pound pole. So Keith and I, it was my first time actually cleaning the Glock since I've shot it, and actually just cleaning a pistol in general. So Keith kind of showed me how to break it down. I just pulled up one of his tutorial videos that he has on YouTube. And anyways, we sprayed it out, cleaned everything up. And then actually replacing the connector itself was really simple. We just had to have a couple punches to get the bolts out so we could pull apart the trigger assembly essentially, and took less than 5 minutes to do.
Yeah, it was simple.
Yep, simple. And then got it cleaned up, and finally, I think it's the guide rod spring was making this crazy squeaking noise. Just imagine like an old spring bed.
Yeah, every time you pulled back the slide, it was like,
yeah.
It was bad.
I think they use that gun actually for the sound effects whenever they're making songs and stuff. But I just sprayed it down with a little bit of gun cleaning lube or whatever, and
yep, ballast. I think we sprayed it down with some
ballast
ballast.
salt, yeah, and then works good. Now, if anybody ever breaks into the house and I want to rack a bullet, they won't know exactly where I'm at in the house, so that's good.
That was the first time I've heard any factory new Glock make that sound. So I don't know if maybe it's just been sitting around so long that any factory oil dried up or whatever. I don't know. It's kind of funny. All right, is that all?
Yep, that's it. That's all I had.
Chris, what about you?
I didn't really do anything this week. Still just been researching things, trying to find aftermarket part supports for the gun I want, because I think it's that important.
Which is?
Smith & Wesson. Going with that gun. That's my next gun.
Yep, that flat dark earth one we talked about last episode.
Yep.
I got yelled at by your wife when we were talking about that, because you have to buy a safe first.
Yeah.
And I called her the wife.
Yep.
And she apparently listens to this podcast. Hello, Kat. I'm sorry for calling you the wife. So we will refer her to Kat now.
Yep. So
mine's still just the wife.
You didn't hear what I'm going to buy, Kat. So I've been looking at aftermarket sites and threaded barrel when I do decide to buy this, so I can know where it's at and get a rough price estimate on what everything was going to cost.
So when are you just going to buy the safe?
Probably in the next month or two. That's what I'm probably going to buy the safe. I'm not in a rush. I mean, all the guns are locked up and safe, so.
That's cool. You need that other gun, though.
Yep.
Well, I didn't do too much. I've been just trying to figure out this equipment here and this camera setup for the podcast. So I think I sold a couple guns this week, but as far as doing anything else, that's pretty much it. Just trying to focus on the production side of things. Has been taking my time.
Production, tactical production.
You're right.
Boomstick,
Boomstick Productions.
Yeah.
I'm gonna make that my secondary company. Well, cool. So what? We don't have our glasses of ice melt again.
Yeah.
What do we got for us today, Chris?
Well, I bought this Rolling Standard. It was distilled here in Kansas City, so kind of interesting to see how Kansas City does their whiskey. So I think we're gonna give this a try.
Heck yeah. And apparently I got a notification on my phone that's recording, and it shows up on the screen, even though it's in do not disturb mode. Somebody's at my front door. So those watching, so I had
Yeah.
yeah.
Or that could have been mine. That happened last time when we were
Oh,
testing it out.
that might have been yours.
But I put do not disturb. I know I put it on do not disturb. So
I don't,
do you think it'll pop up in the video?
freaking phones. We'll find out. I think because I think it's screen recording, but I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe it didn't show up. So we'll see. All right.
Sorry to cut you off. What were you saying about the
I think
whiskey?
it's here in Kansas City, so we'll see how it tastes.
Yeah.
So I
Hunter's-
bought it because the bottle looked cool and the kids like trains. And I was like, oh, I can buy a train whiskey now.
Hunter's finally drinking again.
Yep.
Sweet, sweet sauce.
You went what? Several podcasts without it.
Yep. I was planning on going this podcast without it too, but
Midwestern 4-grain whiskey. All right. Nice. You try it yet?
Nope, I haven't.
Not bad.
a little bite to it.
Yeah. It's not like other ones that are got that really hard bite.
Mm-hmm. Wait,
you miss-
did you say it's just a Tennessee whiskey? It's not a bourbon?
I think it's here in Kansas City. It's a whiskey. 4-grain whiskey is what it says.
Okay.
So 92 proof. But saw it at the liquor store. I was like, give it a shot. It's local. Help the local businesses.
Yeah.
Siri, Siri on my computer was listening to us because when you just said something about whiskey, Siri popped up and had some whiskey stuff. That's not creepy at all.
She's not listening.
Right? Go away, Siri. We're doing a podcast. Cool. Well, I know one thing I want to talk about is, I don't think we've talked about this yet, is, so we're into guns. How do, where are our wives at with guns and how do they feel? And, are they into them or anything like that? So I know my wife, when I started this gun business back in 2017, we had started dating not too long after that, and she was terrified of guns. She didn't know anything about guns and had a bad experience with guns. So she had didn't have a good view of guns at that point. So we took her shooting once down in, I forgot where it was, down in Southeast Kansas, I think. And there were a bunch of us shooting, and I held it was a Ruger 1022. I'm like, all you have to do is pull the trigger. And she would not even just pull the trigger. Like, she was dead afraid. She's like, I could kill somebody with these. I don't want anything to do with them, which is understandable. So what she ended up doing is we found out that there was a ladies only gun class at a local range here in Olathe, and she took it. It was a 2-day course or 2-week course or something like that, multi course. And the first part of the course is it's meant for ladies. It's taught by a female instructor, and they basically start off by teaching them gun safety and how to properly handle a gun and everything like that. And then they also teach them, proper grip and how to hold a gun and the different parts of a gun. And then they eventually take them shooting. So it was pretty cool. And then after that, I mean, her confidence went up like crazy. She now is to the point to where she has her own gun, and she gets mad if I don't take her shooting. So that's, if any guys out there have, issues with their wives with guns, that might be something to look into is a female gun class.
Yeah. That's something I'd want to convince Jasmine to look into. Just she's pulled the slide back once on the Glock just after I was like, you got to try and see if this method works. The one that you were talking about where they punch through instead of trying to pull the slide back. But other than that, she's got zero interest in it. Never wanted to really even hold it. Zero interest in the shotgun. I was like, you got to at least know how to release the pump so you can,
right,
make that noise.
An intimidation factor.
The intimidation factor, and she just doesn't really care or want to do it. So maybe that's something that get her
and Marie can get into
interested as well. I don't think she'll ever be into it, but I'd be a lot happier knowing that she knew how to handle, the weapon properly. So
Yeah, I think some of the Bass Pros and Cabela's, they have like a shoot like a girl. Have you ever seen those vans or trucks at any of those? It's a female base, and they're trying to promote women and shooting and firearms and all that, and they have like different platforms and they're all laser, so you're not really firing it right there in the truck. It's like a laser grid, but it's like a real style AR-15 platform. They had a pistol, and it's a real rifle and gun. It's just not shooting the bullets, a laser, and it's got targets in there, and you could do it. And they also have archery and things like that. I think it's just kind of helping promote females into shooting and getting them into like hunting and firearms.
So then does it have the kick?
It doesn't have the kick. It's like click. There's no
Gotcha.
recoil or nothing on it. It's pretty much like, reminds me of like the Duck Hunter for Nintendo back in the day.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. But I know my wife, she says she's into guns. I've never seen her shoot really, maybe once or twice. So, but Kat says she took some rifle classes when she was younger and did like competition rifle shooting when she was younger. So she's comfortable around him, but she hasn't shot around me. And she understands guns and their safety. And she's like, as long as they're locked up and safe in the house, she doesn't really get bothered by them.
Mm-hmm.
But she's like, she didn't understand why I wanted an AR. She's like, what's the point of it? And I was like, well, it can be a home defense gun. It can be a hunting gun. I mean,
It looks cool.
it's one gun that can do multiple things.
It's America's most popular rifle.
Yeah. I mean, so she doesn't quite get it. She still doesn't. And she doesn't, I think the media probably put a bad image on the AR. And that's why she thinks that. But yeah.
Yeah, I know there's some family members I know that, aren't into guns or anything. And they're like, why did you buy an AR-15? Why do you need one? It's like, well, until you actually go shoot it and see what the experience is about, it's hard to explain because, it's like any hobby. It's like with Hunter, I'm like, why would you want to play disc golf? Like, it sounds terrible. You throw a disc, and then I went and played it. I'm like, oh, this is cool.
Yeah.
So I think it's the same thing. And yeah, again, to your point, is the media just.
They're like, oh, it's an assault rifle, blah, blah, blah. That's what AR stands for. No, it doesn't. It stands for Armor Light.
Yeah.
Rifle, come on.
And it was developed by AR Stoner.
Yeah. So just the media, I think, puts a bad image on it. Like, oh, this is an assault rifle. And people don't really know definitions of an assault rifle, what it is. So it puts a bad image on that and other guns out there.
Yeah. Just ignorance to what things actually mean and their purposes.
Yeah. Luckily, I think with the whole pandemic and everybody and more people buying guns than they used to, more and more people are becoming aware that they're not as bad as the media has made it out to be. Like a lot of people are like, yeah, it is. I've talked to a lot of people that were anti-gun, and all of a sudden now they're like, yeah, it is all about how media makes people think it. So it's coming back the right way, but with Biden and some of the stuff that's come out recently, it's kind of scary with what they're wanting to do.
Yeah.
So it sucks because I came out with a video last week explaining that there's no gun registration, right? Well, I saw an article this week that the ATF has been digitizing.
I was just going to bring
records.
this up.
Yeah. And there's not a whole lot of
like 9 million, I think, records they said they had.
Almost 1 billion.
Oh, so it was 90. Okay.
Yeah. So so what happens is, so if a gun dealer goes out of business or after 20 years, we give all those records that we have to the ATF and they store them in wherever they store them. And apparently, so what happened is they had them in like some warehouse. There was so much paperwork in there, the floor collapsed. Yeah. And, so then they started, instead of having all the paper forms, everybody's digital, they've been scanning them into computers and are like, oh, there's no way to search for anything on there where, well, if anybody knows anything about computers, once you scan a document into a computer, you can search whatever is on that paperwork.
Yep.
So that's a big thing. And it's illegal for them to keep that registry. And so there are some senators or congressmen that are telling them, hey, that's illegal for you guys to keep those records. And they keep saying that there's no records or they can't digitally search for what's in there, but who knows? So
what's the point of keeping them?
Yeah.
Because if a gun is used in a crime, then they kind of do a trace.
Mm-hmm.
So you still want to be able
they
to.
can't digitally search it. How the hell would they know how to look it up or what they're looking for?
It's the ATF.
So you got to keep your records for 20 years on every gun you've sold.
Yeah, those applications, those 4473s, I have to keep those for 20 years.
So after 20 years, what do? Dispose of them, shred them?
I technically can. Yeah. I don't know if they've changed that law or not, but it used to be, and maybe still is, but I can destroy them at that point after 20 years. But yeah, but if I decide to go out of business or shut down next year, all the forms I have to turn over to the ATF.
Okay.
So, and I actually just recently got my first trace call. They said that there was a firearm that was sold to somebody that is being investigated. So, yeah, that was interesting. I'm like, I wonder if this has anything to do with what just came out, or if it was just a coincidence. So, but yeah, if a gun is ever used in a crime or like found stolen or anything, they will do a trace. So if the serial number is still on that gun, they'll go back to that manufacturer, and then that manufacturer will go through their logbook and they'll see where that gun went from there. So like with mine, it went from Glock, then it went to Davidson's, is the wholesaler I bought it from, and then once it came to me, I transferred it to somebody, and so they just asked to see that form, and yeah, I don't know what they do with that afterwards, but yeah,
I don't know, kind of scary.
But luckily, in the 4 or 5 years I've been in business, that's the first one, so
it's not too bad then.
No, not at all, not at all. And it could have been just it got stolen. Who knows?
Yeah,
because that happens a lot. You know, people leave their guns in the cars.
People
overnight, and people break in and, hey, look, I got a gun, and then they go use it in a crime. And that's why I always tell people, if you sell a gun privately, awesome. You know, I can sell you a gun, whatever. Just make sure you have that person you're selling it to fill out the paperwork and do the background check, just to make sure that if that gun down the road is ever used in a crime, it's not, when they do the trace, it stops at you, and then they're like, what did you do with that gun? And if you can't prove, I don't know how that works, but just to be safe, like
bill of sale.
Yeah,
it's kind of just keep your ducks in a row and cover your own ass at that point.
Yeah, it's like I any gun I sell now, I'm like, I want to have paperwork on it just in the event that it's used in a crime, and plus that way, you know, I could tell you I'm not a felon. Yeah. And if you don't know me, you know, you're going to believe me, right? So,
pretty much.
You know, whoever you're selling it to could be like the nicest guy, but he could be a felon and actually can't own firearms. And if it's found out that, you know, you sold him that gun, there's a possibility that you could get in trouble. So,
now you're the felon.
Yeah. So I like my guns. I want to stay out of that situation. So, yeah.
Well, Chrissy, we talked about this a little bit before the podcast started, but what's going on with that nicotine patch on your bicep?
That's not really a nicotine patch. It's like a compression patch. I think either my rotator cuff or bicep tendon's a little messed up. So
how'd you do that again?
Don't know.
Too many 12-ounce curls.
Shit. No, I don't know how it happened. I used to have tendonitis real bad in my shoulder, and it'd flare up every once in a while, and I do the stretches that they taught me, and it'd go away after like a week. But this ain't going away, and it's been like 4 months.
So then you just wear the compression tape all the time? You shower with it on?
Yep. It's good for about 5 days, and then roughly by then I'm going back to the physical therapist, and she'll redo it all again. So
fun. Yeah. What kind of exercises does she have you doing?
I'm not really doing exercises. She's just having me do ice on the location, and like I'm going against the tendons, so I'm not following the tendon lines. I'm supposed to go against it. So they're going east and west. I'm supposed to go north and south on it and rub it for like 5-10 minutes with ice.
Wait, just that rubbing it up and down?
Yeah. Like in that area, just with like your thumb, just you're pressing as hard as you can with ice.
Nice.
Yeah.
That sounds like no fun.
Nope. They did ultrasonic on it, like therapy, and she hit it, and I was like, you need to stop now. I was in so much pain. I don't know what it was. And I was like fighting it. I was like, okay, I can do this. I can do this. And I was like, no, I can't do this. Get this off me or change what you're doing.
That's crazy.
She's like, it shouldn't hurt at all. It shouldn't. I was like, well, it freaking does. So,
was she like physically touching you with something?
She had like a little wand that does ultrasonic
and maybe
pulses.
It was just like touching.
And it just got to that right point, and it just,
Damn.
So it's just weird. And she's like doing all these tests on me, and she's like, "You got really good range." I was like, "Yeah, but it hurts." And I was like, "I can't do the things I used to do."
Mm-hmm.
So I'm hoping it gets better.
Yeah. Can't
Old
let it affect
man.
your disc golfing.
Yeah,
That's what
I gotta
happens when
have
you
that.
get old.
and have that forehand and backhands.
Mm-hmm. Unless you just find out that you're way better playing lefty than you are righty.
Yeah,
Which would be a fun little surprise.
don't have the power I do, but
Looking at your hat reminds me of what you wanted to talk about.
Yeah,
that
I don't
maybe
even know.
We don't want to talk about.
I didn't want to bring it up, but I haven't been able to wear anything Kansas City all week. I haven't listened
this is
to
the first time I've worn Kansas City.
Yeah, Chris and I, the last podcast, were talking about how awesome that last playoff game that we won.
Mhm.
You know, last 13
Yep,
seconds.
13 seconds.
We were able to tie it and then come out with a win. And we did great against the Bengals in the first half. And then the last drive right before, where we threw it to Tyreek Hill and he didn't make it into the end zone, we blew up after that. Like,
Yeah, I don't know what they were thinking. I'm ready for a defense overhaul.
Yep.
Because watching them on that 2-point conversion, if you watch Dan Sorensen, anytime he's in the game, you can watch him. The first thing he does is turn and runs backwards. How are you seeing the quarterback? How are you seeing your man? Like, no wonder you're getting burnt so often. Like, fundamentals.
I know. He comes up with one big play a season. Other
Yeah,
than that,
that's it.
he
Yeah.
just gets
But,
burned.
like, literally, I watched that play on that 2-point conversion they got on us, and he literally turned around and ran in the back of the end zone, and the guy was, like, right here.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, what are you doing? Fundamentals. Don't turn your back.
I hope we need to get rid of that guy. I've seen more bad plays from him than good.
Yeah. But
Some guy that I work with was telling me he was watching a video, and I had seen this guy before. I hadn't seen him in a long time on YouTube, who does a breakdown of games and why he thinks the NFL is rigged.
Yeah.
And it was the play when Mahomes dropped back and fumbled, you know, acting like he couldn't find anybody open. But then he did like the breakdown of it, and everybody was like wide open at one point during that scramble.
Yep.
So this guy's like, you know, that I'm like, how these are the most hyper aggressive, competitive, physical specimens on the planet, and you're telling me that you got to be like, hey, sorry, you got to lose this one. I'm sorry, man.
Yeah.
Like they're just gonna go along with that.
I don't think so. But you never know, because look what's happening right now with Brian Flores and all them. I'll give you
True.
$100,000 a tank. So,
Yeah.
I mean,
I wonder what's gonna happen with all that.
I don't know. I think something needs to be done, though.
Yeah, for sure. For
But-
sure.
I just don't understand their mentality. Let's just keep throwing the ball and do 3 and out. I was like, just run the ball. You're getting like 5, 6, 7 yards a carry. Just run it down their throat till the second half. That's all you had to do.
Mm-hmm.
Man, I know a lot of people are happy, but I'm kind of sad to see Brady retire.
See ya. I'm glad he's
Man,
out. Goodbye.
I'm one of the very few people that's probably a Brady fan, but man,
Well, my family's from that area, so
Yeah.
yeah, man. I don't know.
my
He's-
association and my
he's-
ability to
he
hop
is-
on wagons.
You can trash talk him all you want, but he is probably one of the greatest quarterbacks ever.
For sure, he'll go down. No one's. I mean,
That'll be
in
hard.
terms of titles, no one's ever going
Yeah.
to be able to replicate that. There may be way better arm talents and
Yeah.
players of the game, but
That's going to be a hard feat. That's going
Yeah.
to take forever, I think.
And the way football is now is how many more quarterbacks are going to be playing that long?
I don't know. With health and medical and people spending their money on the way they are, I mean, they might.
I mean, and just with the rules overhaul we've seen in the last couple of years, where it's essentially you
Don't
can't
touch
even
the
touch
quarter-
quarterbacks. I mean, yeah, they'll be way less injury riddled and be able to play for so much longer.
Yeah, we'll see. It'll be interesting to see if he retires with the Bucks or Patriots. Although I know he caught a lot of slack for not mentioning anything about the Patriots
Yeah.
in his little announcement letter thing.
I think he probably should do it as a Patriot. I mean, that's
I mean,
where
spent 20 years there.
yeah, that, and that's where almost all your titles are.
Yeah, he's won 6 with the Patriots and then one with
the Bucks.
the Bucks.
I mean, we like every offseason you see that. At least I don't see. I'm sure all teams do it, but since I follow the Chiefs on Twitter, you see countless people come back, sign for one day, and
Yep.
then just retire so they can retire. Like
Jamal Charles.
yeah,
did it.
Jamal Charles did it.
There's been a couple.
Tomba
of them.
maybe.
Yeah, Ollie's done it. There's been a couple of them.
So
they run like one play in a nice suit.
You think the Gronk is going to retire now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was only playing this season because Brady was like,
Yeah.
"Come on, I'll give you some of that."
I saw a stat.
What's his supplement line called?
Yeah, I saw a stat though that
TB12.
TB12
made me interesting was that the Gronk Brady like most touchdowns in playoff. How far do you think Kelsey and Patrick Mahomes are behind them?
One, I think, or top.
It's like 2 or 3 right now.
I thought they were gonna really.
Yeah, and I was like, oh, because everyone's talking about how Gronk's the greatest in playoffs with Brady, but I'm like, we just really need one more offseason or playoff run, and that could be broken
For real.
And
like, that'll get broke. Well, hopefully we make it back.
Yeah,
4 or 5. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
Next year, obviously there's gonna be cuts and
I was watching the Pat McAfee show right before I came over, talking about how during the offseason they need to tell Brittany and his brother Jackson, you can't be a constant distraction every single game.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I think the defensive line is going to get overhauled a little bit.
Yeah, well, I mean, now that we have Mahomes safe, we know
Yeah.
we've got a dominant offensive line. We really need one solid second option at receiver. Kelsey doesn't really count. I mean, yes, he's our second receiver, but he's a tight end. And then improve the defensive line, just the defense overall. Because our corners, we're all right. You know, they're a bunch of young guys. They're going to get better. It's just
that front line.
Got to get rid of that safety.
Yeah, that's I don't know. I wasn't a big fan of Tyrann Mathieu this year either because of the way he was playing.
You think they're going to re-sign him?
Yeah,
I don't think so.
Yeah,
I think they'll probably try to franchise tag him.
they're trying to work. Yeah, probably, and they're trying to work out a deal, I guess, with Mahomes.
Yeah, to restructure again.
Yeah,
yeah, because I think Hill's got one more year too on his contract, so I would foresee them extending him.
Yeah, we can't lose Hill.
Yeah. I almost think they should trade Clyde Edwards-Helaire for some type of draft picks. I don't care if it's 3rd or 4th. Shoot, half the time you get better players on the 3rd anyways.
Which is not, I mean, I'm glad that it's working out for us, but that's not ideally where you want to pick up big guys is in the 3rd, 4th, 6th round.
Yeah, but like, I mean, even the past drafts, I mean, Tyreek Hill's in the 3rd.
Mm-hmm.
Peters, when we picked him up, he was in the 3rd.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, Trey Smith was in the 3rd. I mean, a lot of our talent's been in the 3rd round, it seems like.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a very disappointing loss.
I had no voice after that game.
It's like, man, we won the coin toss in overtime.
We won the game in the first half.
Yeah.
That should not have happened.
If we would have scored that point right before halftime, even if we just did a field goal, we would have won the game.
Yep.
This is the most I've talked about it since the loss, and I'm trying not to explode. I mean,
shoulda, woulda, coulda, but it is. I mean,
one of my favorite things in the world was to wake up Monday morning, make a cup of coffee, and see what type of mad shit Nick Wright was talking about how badass the Chiefs just played.
Yeah.
And then I opened up YouTube for the first time today. So.
Yeah, I don't know. That game was in our hands.
Mm-hmm.
Just blew it. There's no excuse.
Next year.
It just seems like, I don't know what it is with Andy Reid, too, in the playoffs. Like, we'll get these huge leads and blow them.
Yep.
It's like this 4th or 5th one. I mean, just shove it down their throat. You're the dominant team. Just keep shoving it down their throat and forcing it on them.
What really sucks is we should be pumped because this is the 4th AFC
conference title game held
that we've played in a row.
Yeah.
And since we've got our new starting quarterback, and we're all here going, my team didn't.
Yeah.
Prior to Mahomes, this never would even been a thing.
Yeah.
Oh, we made it to playoffs. Cool. I know we're going to lose this first game, but now it's like, God, if we don't win the Super Bowl, we're like, everybody hates Mahomes now.
Yeah.
So one bad thing about having a good team is like at that point you expect them to be good and just But
I mean, just think how crazy it is that we just expect them to get to the Super Bowl no matter what.
Yep.
I mean, there's not a lot of teams you can just automatically think that about. I mean, the Patriots for a while, but other than that,
yeah, it's been.
I mean, I guess Green Bay, but look what they do every single season.
Conference championship or below that.
Or bust.
think Rodgers is going to the Broncos.
Nope.
Please, God, don't let that happen.
Nope.
Where do you think he's going to go?
It's not in his best interest.
I don't
though.
think he wants to go to the AFC West.
It's
There's too
not-
much young talent in that.
Right. It's not in his interest. If he wants to extend his legacy and, try and win another Super Bowl, just being in the AFC in general really
It's going to be tough.
deters that. So,
Might as well stay in the NFC.
yeah. But I think he may go,
Someone was saying that.
I don't know, maybe the Steelers.
I was looking. I saw the
Yeah,
Steelers, and I even heard that maybe he might go to the Bucks. I was like, what?
Well, it's set up for him.
I know.
I mean, why the hell not?
Yeah.
They'll need a tight end, and
Yeah.
that's probably it.
But I was like, man, he does not want to come to the AFC West. There's too much talent in there, and then the rest of the AFC is all young talent too.
Mm-hmm.
Because we don't even know what's going on with Deshaun Watson yet. Where's he going?
Probably Denver.
I don't know.
Miami, maybe?
I heard Miami was looking at him, but I heard Giants.
I mean, with all their scandal that they have, he'd fit in perfect.
Yeah. But there's just too much generational talent in the AFC right now.
Mm-hmm.
It's nuts.
And at this point, do we really call it generational talent? Because isn't it supposed to be once in a generation you see this talent?
Yeah.
We've
We're
got
all in
5 or 6 of them.
Five
right
of them,
now.
6, all in the same conference.
I was thinking about this the other day. With all the new rules, I think maybe one of the reasons why there's so much more quarterback talent right now than there ever has been before, because traditionally you had to be not only a badass with your arm and reading the field and smart, but also tough as nails because you were getting drilled all the
Yep.
time, low when you had your back turned, all sorts of stuff. And now that the quarterback's being protected so much, those guys who may have had the arm talent and the smarts and everything, but were too big of, not wimps, but like they just weren't looking to
They're
get
taking
hit
the
hard
beating.
like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now they're like, oh, well, now I can just play the position and
Yeah.
I don't have to worry about getting my knee blown out or multiple
Yeah.
concussions. So, yeah, I was thinking about that in the car the other day, and I was like, it's going to
Yeah.
sound like I stole that from somebody.
Yeah, there is a lot of protection now, though, and I don't know. Some of those calls that weren't called too during these games, I really wish we had like college referees where that was their job, 24/7,
Yeah.
because there were so many missed calls during almost
Oh, yeah.
most of the games.
Yeah. Well, it's tough. I mean, if like when you see the replay and you're like, holy shit, when they do get one right, you're
Yeah.
like, I was way off on that. I thought that was out or whatever. But we are seeing it either slowed down or from a bigger perspective. They're at game speed. They're down on the ground.
Yeah,
I hear when if you're on the field and Tyreek runs by you, it's like a whole nother level of speed than you even thought
yeah,
possible. Because when he's outrunning other corners and stuff, it's like, well, he's smoking them, but you have to realize those are some of the fastest people in the world, and he's burning them. So
yeah.
the game time speed, I think, has gotten so fast that it's the human eye just is maybe not well equipped to
Well, that and
make
everyone's
those
trying
quick
to.
calls.
It's a
Mhm.
copycat league, so they're trying to copy the Chiefs now and get
Mhm.
speed. If you got speed, then you got to have people that can keep up with speed. So
Mhm.
it's just that constant battle.
Yep.
But it seems like every year Tyreek Hill's still the fastest man.
God,
I don't know how he does it.
me either. When he's throwing peace sign up, and we're playing the
Oh, yeah.
we're playing
The Bills.
the Bills, and he's throwing a peace sign up to the guy who's got
Yeah.
3 or 4
Yards
links
on
on him. And he's like, yep, I'm still burning you.
I think he got fined for that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Did he?
Like
That's the
12,000 or
coolest.
something?
That's the
Yeah, it was
coolest
12,000.
fine ever.
Well, that and I don't understand it. He's got the gloves where it shows the peace sign.
Mhm.
If he just puts his hand up,
He's just one
But-
cocky.
Because he is saying,
he's saying you ain't
you're
got
that
me.
far ahead of me, I'm still going to beat you.
Yeah. Peace out.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah. There's just I don't know.
It's all right. There's next year.
Yeah, I'm hoping.
Whatever your wife is making right now smells so good. My stomach is rumbling.
I didn't think she was making anything.
Do you smell that?
A little bit of it.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I'm
Smells
just
good.
used to our house smelling like food.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know. I thought I was just having leftovers.
Maybe you are.
I don't know.
Maybe she's like, screw you. I'm making me something I want.
Mhm.
And you can have leftovers.
She seemed like she was in a pretty good mood when she got home, so maybe she is whipping up something tasty.
I don't know. She's got her new job. She started her new job this week and likes it. So, yeah.
It's always good.
Yeah, exactly.
my wife got home and I was in the shower and I didn't hear her yelling for me. And then when I finally heard her, she was annoyed that she had to yell so loud. That I yelled back at her and she's like, all right, I'm out of here. Left, slammed the door, came back in like 3 seconds later because she forgot her keys. Just laughed at her. All right. So it'll probably be pleasant when I get home, but
Just keep poking the bear.
Yeah. Well, we got enough whiskey for you to stay over for a while. Let that blow over.
I think she went to the gym, so hopefully she's
Getting her anger out that way.
yeah, a little bit of stress relief before she gets home.
She comes back, she'll walk in and be like, "What's for dinner?" I thought you went to the grocery store.
Yeah, seriously. You didn't pick anything up on the way home?
Right?
Jeez, what were you thinking?
So I know Chris and I's wives want to do a interesting podcast. I don't know if we're gonna do it. Well, nervous. They want us to kind of not really trash talk our wives, but like
This is such a bad idea.
right, it is.
No, they're
It's-
wanting us to trash talk, so
I
then they
know.
can open up a can of worms.
Yeah,
That's
they
what
want
I'm
us to.
saying. It's
They
such a
want
bad
us
idea.
to complain about them. You know, kind of a guys complaining about wives thing, and then they want to have a rebuttal episode where they come on and
I think they
Yeah.
should be in the room when we do it, so they have to get on immediately after, so they don't get time to think about
Well,
what
but-
they want to say and keep researching and listening over and over again and repeating things.
I'm like, I'm gonna have to be here because they have no idea how to use this equipment. So, I mean, I could hit record and leave, but I don't know. That's
Hit
scary.
record and leave, and then hit record again and be like, well, I don't know what happened.
Oh, something happened. The mic was off.
Technology.
See that record button? It wasn't flashing green. Yeah, I don't know. She heard that from a coworker because I guess a coworker heard that we had a podcast and they're like, you know, it'd be kind of cool. And I'm like, man, that could go well or it could go really bad.
I think it's going to go bad.
Yeah.
It'll probably open up a can of worms, and we're going to be in trouble the entire time.
If
Your
they
wife-
want to join us on the podcast and talk about whatever, sure. But
Yeah.
to have us voluntarily throw some shade at them,
Yeah.
and then so they can come back and just roast us, no, thank you.
Kat was all about it yesterday.
Oh, yeah. Kat and your wife have been talking, too,
She's
on
been-
text message.
Cat's been saving up ammo.
Oh, she's
been
got-
probably taking notes every day.
She's got like 17 years worth. What are you talking about?
Well, we'll save that for episode 365.
Yeah.
That sounds like a good
Yeah.
idea.
Yeah, because we got so much planned. You know, I don't know if we're going to fit that in.
Yeah.
It's just not going to happen.
Maybe they should just come up with their own podcast and figure it out.
Exactly. Like, you could use the stuff here. You just have to post it to your own
Do
platform.
girl talk or something.
I keep trying to get Marie to
There's
start.
got to be one called Girl Talk already.
Yeah.
Oh,
there
yeah.
has to be.
I'm sure there is.
Probably wife talk.
Trying to get Marie to start her own YouTube channel because she obviously loves to cook. So I'm trying to get
She's
her.
really good at it.
And so she started kind of a cookbook because we have a neighbor that wanted some easy recipes that weren't too crazy. So she's put a cookbook together, especially a lot of stuff that she does. And I'm like, you know, cooking channels right now are really big. You know, there's a lot of people that want to learn how to cook. And I'm like, this is a perfect time for you to start a cooking channel. We
Social
have
media.
like we have the equipment
Equipment.
and everything.
Yep.
You know, you don't even really have to stand in front of the camera. We can have it pointed
Downwards. overview.
downwards so you can see what you're doing.
And with multicam now, you can do multiple. You don't have to adjust anything. You can have it all set up and ready to rock and roll. And
Yeah, it's like you just post your recipe down in the description or a link to it somewhere, and you know maybe it's. I think people do like to see the person
Yeah.
that's in the camera. I'm like, she'll eventually get comfortable on camera. It's just getting her to that point.
it only takes a couple. I thought I was going to be so uncomfortable doing this every week, and then
I don't get bothered by things like that.
so.
Yeah, you just gotta forget the camera's rolling, and
Yeah. Just talk like you're being normal. That's all you're really doing.
yeah. I just wish we could smoke cigars up here.
Yeah.
And taking this
It's
all to the
so
garage
much
where we
better.
could is gonna be a nightmare.
Maybe for a couple episodes in the spring where we have nice weather, we keep the garage door open.
It'll be later days too. So
Mm,
Yeah.
or our
The only bad thing
cryptocurrencies
is
take off.
the only bad thing is the sound quality inside the garage might not be ideal.
Yeah.
But I guess we could play with it and see what happens.
Just wait for our cryptocurrencies to take off, and then we'll build a house, have our own cigar room, everything already set up, pre-wired.
Didn't the market just crash again?
It keeps going down.
It keeps going up and down.
Okay. Sounds awesome.
Yeah.
When it's down, you buy.
Man, I heard some of these NFTs are getting insane too.
Yeah.
Justin Bieber bought one for like, I can't remember, but I think it was like 60% or 40%, something over asking, the original asking price. I mean, he just went above and beyond on it.
I watched a video of how to make them, and I guess you can sit there and do it. Like every time it sells, you get a portion back, kickback.
What the
I was
hell?
like,
what is
what?
it?
It's a non-fungible token.
What the hell is that? Like crypto?
Yeah.
It's essentially like an artist can create an original painting piece or something, and then you buy the digital copyright footprint to it, and then like you can't replicate it or copy it, and then you can keep selling that original. It's like if you owned a piece of art but you don't own it, and anybody, if they liked it, could just take a screenshot of it and use it however they wanted to. I mean, they don't actually own it, but it doesn't make sense to me right now why it's making so much money. But
that, and I heard that with these, some of them are making like clubs. So if you have a certain NFT, you can get into like celebrity clubs, house parties, and things like that because you're part of the NFT club.
Jeez.
And yeah, it gets crazy.
That just seems like a way to.
Because some of these NFTs are like
$1,000
$1,000.
How much money you have?
Yeah,
right. Show your
$1,000 to start, and then it gets up to like $1 million or so much crypto people are selling them for. I was like, man, it'd be so easy just to get like do a skull candy and just keep changing the colors for each one and make an NFT for each one.
That's wild, man.
Because there's one like an Afro punk monkey or something like that. They change the teeth or put jewelry on it or laser beams. I was like, you could do that with anything.
Yep.
And make thousands of it.
Well,
it's not something I would want. Like,
I'd do it just to make the money off of it, and that'd be about it.
I don't know.
Do it now before it gets too big, because then nothing will have any value.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just crazy. Like the whole Bitcoin cryptocurrency, it's like, man.
Yeah, it's nuts.
Who came up with that idea, and how is it gonna?
It's taken off because there's thousands upon thousands of different coins now.
I don't even understand what a Bitcoin is. Like, I know it's like a mining in a crypto. I don't know. I don't understand what that either. It's over my head, I guess.
There's like a branch chain or some sort of.
Well, you can do mining with it, and then
is it?
And then
but there's no physical.
No, it's just it's pretty much digital currency is what it is. Like, I don't know. Like what I'm in.
So what are you mining? Like I know they say.
Essentially, since there's no gold that actually backs the U.S. dollar, it's just printed paper. There's nothing behind it. We just all agree that this paper is worth something.
Right.
They're just essentially trying to get that same concept off the ground with
at least their gold is a thing though, and we did base it off gold, but crypto, it's like.
Yeah, it doesn't. I mean, it makes sense, and it doesn't make sense. It makes sense in the fact that digitalizing it is obviously the way to go, but then it doesn't make sense because there's nothing backing it. But there's nothing backing our dollar, so it's like what
it's just like stocks, pretty much.
Yeah,
but a stock is a part ownership in a company.
Well, these are companies now. Some of them are like Bitcoin's its own company, but then you start burning them, and then their value goes up because now they're limited resource of how many there are out there.
It's so crazy.
It's just like a stock. You got so many stocks that you can sell. And
so Keith, how many push-ups are we up to?
Oh, I did probably about 100 yesterday.
Do you believe that?
Yeah, I mean, you would see my muscles, but I got a hoodie on and you can't see them. I mean,
Boomstick tactical.
That's why I'm like moving slow because I'm sore, from all those push-ups. That's why I had to take a shower before he came over because I did another 50 today. So
good.
Yeah,
and that's along with your air squats and your sit-ups, right?
Yes,
you're killing everything right now. Awesome,
man.
He's gonna be stacked in spring.
Yeah, and unlike Chris over here, I can actually do bicep curls.
Yep.
Yeah,
we're getting weak and old, and brittle.
But yeah, it's going great.
Good.
I don't believe you.
How's your fitness journey going? I know your alcohol thing's over with, and no drink January, even though you cheated a couple days.
Yeah, but the Chiefs were playing. I made it 3 weeks before I caved the first time, and then another week. But it was fine. I went to the gym every day. I know you're supposed to take 1 day of rest, but I just was like, well, it's only for a month.
Nothing else to do.
Better get after it. Spanish is going fantastic. I got like a 33-day streak or whatever on the app.
Tell us something in Spanish.
And then
How do you say his
Yo
podcast?
tengo hambre. I'm hungry. I don't know how to say it. Crazy. It's more like they're building the foundation pretty wide right now before through the app. I feel like they're going really wide before they start getting deep. And then I didn't finish a book last month, so I got to finish 2 this month. But I've got one that's like 80% of the way done, and then I'm about halfway done with this 12 Rules for Life from Jordan Peterson. So
Cool.
I should be able to knock those out.
What about you? I know you had some goals. Where are you at with yours?
Well,
I know YouTube channel was one of yours.
yeah, I just got to start it, really.
Still got 11
Just-
months, baby.
I know.
You gotta just press record, man.
I know. I'm just taking it slow and steady.
I'm taking this online course about being successful in YouTube and podcasts, and dude, they're all like, "Man, just press record. That's all you gotta do. Like, build the confidence."
I
Like,
know that's
forget
all
about
it
everything
is.
else.
All it is get it going and starting it and
Just
getting into a routine.
yeah, and you just start it. Obviously, your first video is gonna be terrible. It's gonna be your worst video, but and they say just plan on doing 1% better every video, and
Eventually,
just
you'll
look
be at
how
100.
far all this is coming.
Yeah.
The couple short months we've been doing it.
yeah, we didn't have any of this stuff. Yeah, you can't see in front of us are some lights, bunch of camera stands, and everything like that. So it's been a process and trying to figure it out too.
Yeah. I don't know. I've been doing that and then working on my other goals here and there. So I'm hoping I'll try to get at least 80% of them done this year.
Okay. Buying a safe, buying a gun, and starting a YouTube channel.
Yeah.
Oh, and cleaning out your garage.
Cleaning out the garage to get the boat in.
Boom.
Yeah.
I was going to do it
So,
this
like,
week, but
50% of your car parts and your
it's not even really that. It's just organizing it back up and then getting the beamer out.
I don't know. Kat says from what Kat says, you have a junkyard.
I
You have
don't
enough
junkyard.
to start basically
Pick
advanced
and
auto
pull.
parts. Yeah.
No, I wish. No, it's not like that. But I do have a lot.
He says it's not like that. I don't know. We'll
I mean,
see.
I could sell a lot of it. I need to go through it. I know what I've got, but I just need to organize it a little bit better.
And just think about it. It's like, are you ever going to use that part
Maybe.
in the near future?
Who knows? Who knows what the future brings
So why
us?
keep it?
Okay. If it took you had to look up and think about it for a second, gone. I'll come over. I'll help you. I love throwing shit out. We're just going to get rid of stuff so
It's
fast.
so satisfying. Like after you get rid of all that shit, you're like, all right.
Well, I can breathe in here again.
Well,
Right?
you could still breathe in there. You can walk around everywhere.
When was the
It's
last
just an expression.
most of that stuff in there? When was the last time, like all those car parts, like last time you did anything with?
Last summer. Really?
Yeah.
Summertime. Because that's when I pulled the engine and put that one in, and then I had needed certain parts, and I had them. So I didn't have to go buy them.
How often does that happen though?
Just depends.
Yeah.
Depends when I want to grenade a motor or not. But yeah, it's good to have
Alright.
spares.
We're gonna come over and clean out your garage.
Mhm.
I'm like, I don't know what this is. It's going in the trash.
See ya.
A lot of it's already in containers. That's the best part.
So then we can throw stuff away in bulk.
He can't even lift some of these containers. They're so heavy.
Well, he works out a lot apparently, so he'll be able to do it.
I struggled with one of them, putting them up on that top, and I was like, I probably should not have put that on there because if I ever have to get it down, I'm going to crush myself.
Yeah.
Well, get a shed.
It's going to have to sit
Yeah.
up there until your boys get strong enough to help you get it down.
I don't know. I remember when we moved from Virginia to San Diego, and the guys were flipping out about all the stuff in my garage. I had an engine in there, a transmission, a rear end, and they're like, how are we supposed to move this? I was like, I don't know. You got to figure it out.
So are most of these car parts BMW?
Yeah, majority of them are.
So why don't you? I'm assuming you could sell them for money.
Yeah.
So why don't you sell everything that you could that you know you're for sure not going to need in the near future, and then save that money and put it towards that charger that's sitting in there as well.
Yeah,
That needs to be restored.
it's a process.
How hard would
Kat,
it be?
I hope you're listening, and I'm on your side. We need to get that.
How hard would it be to do an engine swap on the Isuzu
Just depends. What do you want to put in it?
6-cylinder? Can you imagine that thing?
I don't know.
It,
but
ar-
You
it
can put it
already
in-
weighs
The
nothing.
majority of engine swaps that people do is mostly your motor mounts. Where you're going to mount it? Is it strong enough? And then transmission wise, what you're going to run, and drive shafts to make sure that you got to
can handle the power.
well that, and you got to get most likely a custom drive shaft, and then rear end you got to make sure it can handle that power that you're putting in.
So it's a lot of work.
So it's more than just an engine.
Well, it just depends. It
I was
depends.
really hoping he's going to be like, "Yep, you just lift the old one out and put the."
I mean,
new
I could
one
probably
in."
pull a motor in like 2-3 hours. So depending on the motor.
Yeah.
I mean, those TV shows I watch, they just lift it up,
Mhm.
pull it out, and
Mhm.
put a new one in.
Well, they also have a lift, and they got a big
Right.
ass shop with plenty of room.
They
I'm
don't show
talking.
all the stuff that goes
I'm talking
wrong.
about doing it in my garage with just a lift and jacks. I could probably do it.
Can you just build a motor and put it in something?
Yeah.
Or does it?
You can. I've got enough parts to build an engine.
For a BMW, though.
Yeah. Well, you can put it in anything, really.
Why don't you build an engine and sell it?
Yeah, to me, and we're going to put it in my truck.
I thought about building a spare engine for it,
Can
just
you
to
put
have
a
on the
BMW engine in his?
Probably.
I don't know.
We'll find out.
We can find out.
Because there's probably not a lot of, I know in cars today, like a lot of wiring and harnesses you got to deal with. His,
Yeah.
probably
Just
not
bare
so
bones.
much, right?
You can literally reach in. I always thought changing your oil was such a hassle because I always had semi-modern new cars. This thing, you can, if you wanted to reach in the front, you could twist off the filter, reach under. You don't even have to get into the car if you don't want to. It's like full access.
Yeah.
Must be nice.
That's how those older cars are.
Yep.
Well, my truck is, 2003, and it is the most difficult to change. It's a
I don't
Ford.
know what you're
It's like-
talking about because I'm pretty sure I did it pretty quick.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you have experience.
Oh, you can't put the filter on from underneath? Sure you can.
Yeah, I couldn't do that because it's the little thread thing is at an angle, and so you're trying to reach in there. There's like a bar or something that's in a way, and it's
Literally took me like 5 minutes.
okay.
to
Well,
do.
next time I change my oil, you're coming over and you're going to change that out, and then he'll probably make you change his too,
Mhm.
Just have them next to each other. We'll just have them going at the same time.
right?
I got a kid I work with who's going to take a look at, because he said that noise is definitely not just the fan belts. He said it's either the water pump or, I don't know, something in the actual motor itself. So he's going to
Probably bearings if it's in the water pump.
open it up
Bearings.
and take a look at it for me. And
You'll know if it's your water pump.
well, yeah, he said you'll be able to look at that really quick. He said,
Usually
but if
it'll
it's in the
start leaking on
motor,
the shaft.
it's going to take a while.
I don't know. I think it's probably an idler pulley bearing or something.
I mean, it's like a tick, tick, tick. It's loud. I don't know when's the last time you've heard it. It's gotten worse for sure.
Is it in like guys' genes to know exactly what this stuff is right off the bat?
Well,
Come on, Hunter, you should know
I
exactly.
got the
what
wrong
this
pair
is.
of jeans, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, I have no idea either.
You got
I'd be one of those
Is that
guys.
fuel injected? No, yours is carbureted.
Mm-hmm.
It's probably the lifters chattering a little bit.
Ooh, that doesn't sound good.
It's just oil probably.
Jasmine,
What's your oil level?
I need to
Does
check
he
it.
have an oil gauge? I don't know.
He's got a dipstick, I'm sure.
But
Yeah.
I mean, I just replaced the oil less than 3,000 miles ago.
Is it conventional oil or synthetic?
Conventional.
How many miles is on that?
72 now.
Conventional oil is not as good as synthetic.
Hell, I haven't even put 3,000 miles on it because I got it with 70,000. So I've put 2,000 miles on it since I've had it.
Probably just needs an oil change.
No,
Yeah.
they've listened to it.
Dude, it is loud as hell. You can hear me coming from all the way down the street.
I saw.
Not in a good way.
The last time you drove it, I forget a couple days ago, but you turned it on. There was that noise, and I saw you with the hood open, looking in there. I'm like, I bet you he has no idea what he's looking at.
Nope. Nope. I was looking.
And I'm like, I hope he doesn't come ask me because I'm gonna be the same line. I'm like, yeah, bro, that's
No,
making
one
some noise.
Crazy.
One way to get rid of it is to put a cup of transmission fluid in there because it's a lot thicker oil. It'll chatter, get rid of that chattering noise. But that's pretty much what mystery oil is transmission.
Well,
but conventional oils don't last as long as your synthetic. So if it's been a long time, like over a year or two, and not really driving it, it's probably your oil.
Well, I'm gonna let this Nino check it out and see what he says first.
Yeah, hopefully it's something.
What's
Cheap
nice
and
too
easy.
is, yeah, he's a nice guy. So
If you
he's
need some
not gonna
parts,
charge me for.
check out Chris's garage.
Yeah. Hey, Chris, you got anything in stock? Yeah.
As long as you don't use Rock Auto, you're fine.
Oh my God, I will never use.
I wish I had
Rock
my
Auto
phone so I could look it up. I found this website where they have like every replacement part for the Isuzu.
Yep.
And they sell like, I guess they used to sell center consoles and stuff. So they have one. It's like
Hell yeah.
$35 because I need it. So there's no cup holders or anything in there, and it's
Race car.
manual. So
Race car.
if you want to drink anything while you're in there, it better have a lid on it. And yeah, so that and a lot of other cool stuff. But anyways.
That's how the
Enough
Beamer
about that.
was. No cup holders. And I ended up finding like a later model and putting that center console in.
Mm-hmm.
So I could just have one cup holder.
Mm-hmm.
And it really just fit one coffee. That was it. I was like, this is so stupid to have. So I took it back out and put the other one back in.
Wow. Yeah, I'm
Nice.
excited for it.
Nice. Well, we should probably wrap this up because we're coming up close to that hour mark.
Coming up close to an hour. I'm about to not start gnawing my arm off.
So I guess it is after 7. You know, Chris already ate because he's the early bird special guy. He's got to eat by like 5.
And that old man.
4:30.
Get that 55 discount.
If I ate that early, I'd be hungry again by like 8.
That's when dessert is. Duh.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
Cool. Well, thanks for watching, guys. If you're watching on YouTube, don't forget to like and subscribe so you can be notified of more podcasts and other content that we come out with. And if you're listening audio only through Spotify or any place like that, just hit that follow button and you'll be notified every week when we come out with a new podcast.
and if there's anything you want to see content-wise, either on YouTube or what you want us to talk about on the podcast, always feel free to leave a comment. We'd love to give you more of the type of content that you guys are looking to watch.
And Kat, don't put anything on there because you're not going to get on here.
Not anytime soon.
All right. Thanks for watching,
All right.
guys.
Thanks, guys.
Have a good one.